Good evening, good afternoon. Okay. Yep. Anusha, hi, good evening. No college today, no class today. Anusha, no classes today, no college today, no classes. Awesome. Nice. Good evening. Yes. Okay. Okay. Helen is traveling, so I go ahead. So, Helen, okay. Right. So, today is my last session with all of you. Chandramohan, hi, good evening. Today is my last session with all of you. Hi. Chandramohan, you prayed all the gods? Chandramohan, tell me also what gods to pray. It'll help everybody. Okay. Who else is there? Dr. Vinisha, hi, good afternoon. Oh, Helen is all in the car. Helen, I can see you all in the car. Nice. Driving up to Kochi. Great. That's the best part about having an online class. You can catch up anywhere and everywhere. You may be driving. Great. And do point the camera outside the window also, Helen, so that even I can enjoy the view or the drive also. Others can also enjoy the drive. Okay. Bhanu, hi. Bhanu, good evening. Nice to have you, Bhanu. All right, so let's start with it. Okay. Arshia, good evening. Okay, let's start with this. Who else? There's somebody else has switched on the camera. Who's this? Who's switched on the camera? I don't know your name. If you can text me. Vamsi will not be joining us today because father is not well. Okay. Ramesh, if the network is not okay, you can switch off the camera also, Ramesh. I completely understand. Bishnoi, if the network is not okay, it's perfectly fine. Okay, Ramesh, thanks. Now, couple of things. I'm going to do two topics today, two things today. One, I'm going to talk about thinkers. Second, I'm going to talk about case studies. And I have a couple of suggestions for all of you. When we are doing case studies, don't jump into writing answers immediately. Because your understanding of case study, writing of case study depends on your reading abilities, depends on knowing ethical concepts. So don't jump into it directly. And secondly, when you do this thinkers part, you have to have a complete control over your world history also. Because you study a lot of these thinkers in world history. For example, Buddha, you study Indian history. So you don't have to study them separately here. So I'm just giving you a small advice here. When you're doing your world history part itself, there itself you'll be doing a lot of these thinkers. For example, when you study French Revolution, you study Rousseau there. You can study Voltaire there. When you are studying about American Revolution, American history, you study Lincoln there. So don't duplicate effort. Save your time. When you're studying Industrial Revolution, capitalism, in world history, there's a topic called capitalism. When you study capitalism, you study Adam Smith there. And when you study communism there, you study about Karl Marx there. So don't duplicate things because students do this big mistake. They will study them here also, they will study them in world history also. Don't do that. Study there only. It will save a lot of your time. Right. So that's what we'll do now. I'll keep giving you these tips. And I'll go slow today because this may be a little heavy for you. Okay, let's start with thinkers and philosophers. Moral thinkers. That's the topic. When I say moral thinkers, the first question is, who are moral thinkers? Who are moral thinkers? Second question, who are philosophers? Why is it we have two different categories, moral thinkers and philosophers? Why are the two different categories? Why not philosophers only? Buddha, Mahavir, Guru Nanak, Tiruvalluvar, Confucius, they were not philosophers. They were all moral thinkers. Jesus, Prophet Muhammad, all of them were moral thinkers. Moral thinkers. Shankaracharya, Aristotle, Plato, Kautilya, they were all philosophers. So what's the difference? What's the difference? We need to understand that first. Now let's look at moral thinkers first. Moral thinkers are a different kind of question. If you look at all moral thinkers, they had only one big question. The big question was, what's the right path of living life? What's the best way to live life? In other words, rules of living. What are the best rules of living? Rules of living that will make your life better. If you look at Buddha, he gave you eightfold path. He gave you eightfold path. If you look at Mahavir, he gave you three ratnas, three jewels. If you look at Guru Nanak, he gave a path. They were not philosophers. They were only helping us. Listen to this. They were only helping us to live our life better. Mahatma Gandhi, he used two principles, ahimsa and satya, to live his life better. So this is not philosophy. It's about rules of living. Look at how we ought to live. What's the right way to live? What's the right way to live? That was a question they had. Right path, right way. One. Second, they were focusing on the principles. What principles should be a guiding lights? If you look at Buddha, eightfold path are nothing but principles. Right speech, right action, right livelihood. Principles. How should you live? Remember, this moral thinkers had only this question. How should you live? What's the best way to live? Best way to live. Here's something we all are trying to find the best way to live. For example, right now you're all finding a best way to study. Study for UPSC exam. Best way. So moral thinkers were giving us the best way to live. They were not creating religions. They were giving us the best way to live. If you look at Thiruvalluvar, he was sharing what's the best way to live. That's why all those wisdom thoughts. Thirukkural is all about the wisdom, sayings. If you follow that, your life becomes better. So that's what this is all about. Copy this and remember, best life, best way to live, rules of living. That's the idea here. Hello, sir. Vasant, hi. Vasant, are you there with me? Vasant, if you're there, if you're switched on your camera, raise your hands. Oh, Vasant, hi. Vasant, nice to see Shinchan as your DP. You're a grown-up child. Great. I'm happy to see that. Good. Keep the child in you alive, and Shinchan keeps it alive, right? I hope you don't have the Shinchan's habit of troubling your mother. Shinchan just troubles the mother like anything. I hope, Vasant, you don't do that with your mom. You don't embarrass your mom publicly. I hope you don't do that. Mitzi is always embarrassed. Hi, good evening. Who's this? Who's this? Who's this? Okay. Naveen, hi. Naveen, are you there? Yes, Naveen. Naveen, I can't see your face, but nevertheless, good. I'm happy that you're there. Right, let's see who are the philosophers. Who are the philosophers? Let's see. Let's see the philosophers. What do philosophers talk about? Okay, let's start with this. Questions raised by philosophers. Okay. Now, these people had different kind of questions. These people are different. They were not into the rules of living. They had different questions. Very micro questions. I repeat, very micro questions. Very micro questions. Acha, who controls your life? You control your life or destiny? God controls your life? Big question. No, they didn't ask, do you believe in God? What they're asking is, who is in control of your daily life? In other words, do you live your daily life by choice? That is, are you in this class by choice or God guided you to this class? Are you sitting in this class by choice or God guided you? In other words, that's what it says. Are your actions free or predetermined? That is, do you do your actions by choice or it's predetermined? God determines you already. You know, in India, we have this horoscope business. All of horoscope, everybody has a birth chart horoscope. What is that horoscope is all about? It tells you it's predetermined. Your life is going to go this way only, predetermined. So philosophers' big question was this only. Do you lead your life by choice? Very basic question. Am I doing this by choice or it's predetermined? For example, during COVID times, you saw two kinds of people. One, very, very cautious, mask, sanitize, everything. Even now, in academy, they started allowing students here. I see two kinds of students. One, all precautions. The other set, they will not take any precautions. Anyway, my death time is predetermined. If I have to get COVID, I'll get COVID. God's wish. So they'll be walking around. So how do you explain that? Is it by choice or predetermined? Typical of students also. When you pass an exam, I worked hard. When you failed, God. I said, do you marry by choice or God makes the choices? We marry by choice. If it ends up in divorce, we say, oh, God willed it. It's predetermined. Divorce was predetermined. Come on. So that's what the issue is. Free or determined? Free or determined? One. First big question. Second question they had was this. What's your source of knowledge? Where do you get your knowledge from? Your knowledge is through your own experience, your own rationality, or it's divine. Reason or divine? Reason or divine? What's your source of knowledge? Where do you get your knowledge from? Your knowledge is based on your experiences, your rationality, or God gives you the knowledge. Divine and reason. You know, this is the biggest debate today. Science versus religion. Science talks about reason, philosophy talks about reason, religion talks about divine. Philosophers were looking into these questions. But my favorite question is the first one. Is your actions by choice or is predetermined? That question may come, so have an answer for that. I hope you are all preparing for civil service by choice or it's predetermined. So copy that. So two different questions. Chandramohan says, no, it's predetermined. Chandramohan, seriously, it's predetermined? In India, most marriages are determined by parents. Yes. And parents, first thing they do is they match the horoscopes. They match the horoscopes first because they have to get the divine clearance. And horoscopes gives you the divine clearance. In fact, that's a nice escape mechanism also. If anything goes wrong with the marriage, they can always say horoscope did not match. It didn't work. Yes, actions are by choice. Yes, true. And that's a question they'll have. That's a question they'll have. The first one, actions are free or by choice? All right, second one. Now, UPSC till now, follow this, it's very important. UPSC till now have focused on, follow. UPSC has till now focused on these thinkers, philosophers. These are the people they're focused on. Now, if you look at the philosophers, they have focused completely on Greek philosophy. Complete ancient Greek philosophy is covered. Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Greek. John Rawls, American philosophers, Justice. Kautilya, Indian philosopher. And if you look at all of us, completely West. And since they have asked the Greek philosophers, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, please try preparing French philosophers. French, that is French Revolution, Rousseau, because India talks about equality. Rousseau, Voltaire. So now they'll come into modern philosophers. I repeat, now they'll come into modern philosophers. I have covered some modern philosophers also in my earlier classes. Like I taught you Kant. If you remember duty approach to ethics, I spoke about Kant. I spoke about Bentham. I spoke about Mill in the class earlier. So some modern philosophers I've already covered. So these are the philosophers they can ask you again. And I have a feeling they'll focus a lot on equality. If you look at today's world, if you look at Black Rights Movement, Black Lives Matter, it's about equality. We live in a world there's a lot of discrimination. And if you look at French philosophers or French Revolution slogan, liberty, equality, they focused on the word equality, ending discrimination. Ending discrimination. So that's why you have to focus on them. And the next, they have focused only 3 moral thinkers. I've not added one more, 3. Gandhi, every year they have asked Gandhi, every year. Tirukural, and 2020 they had Buddha. So they have 3 moral thinkers, Buddha. And what is interesting is Gandhi is somebody whom you study in your Indian history. Modern Indian history is full of Gandhi only. So why should I repeat Gandhi with you all? So that's why when you're doing a modern Indian history itself, study Gandhi very well there. And Buddha already has been asked. So probably this year they can ask you about Mahavir. RIP, they can ask you about Mahavir. They can even ask you about Ashoka. If you look at Ashoka's edicts, they were all about rules of living, how to live. Ashoka's edicts. They can ask you about Ashoka also. And leaders. Abraham Lincoln, Napoleon. When you study French Revolution, study Napoleon also. Because Napoleon comes after French Revolution. Child of revolution is called. Napoleon. So UPSC, they have given you a clear indication that we'll pick up thinkers only from your world history and Indian history. We will not go something beyond anything like that. And the last one, APJ Abdul Kalam, Warren Buffett, contemporary leaders. Abdul Kalam has been asked a couple of times. Abdul Kalam sir. Who knows? Again, it may be repeated. So these are the thinkers they have asked. And it's completely West. It's completely West. Philosophy is completely West. Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. So let's understand the whole thing. Let's understand the whole thing. Yeah, I know the spelling is wrong. Okay, all right. Now, next one. Okay, now please understand this. What I'm going to tell you in this slide, if you can understand this, your life is very easy. You'll be able to understand the whole thinkers very easily, philosophers very easily. And I'll prescribe 2 books for you also in the end. 2 books also. And these are 2 books I want you to read also. At your leisure, you can read it. And these are 2 books about thinkers. Because you have to read books here. There's no way out. All right. Now, let's... Yeah, I know Tiruvallur is the person's name. Okay. Achha, suppose if you go to the new city, just imagine, suppose you go to a new city, suppose you come down, a lot of you are from Chennai, suppose you go to Calcutta, for example. Suppose when you go to a new city, what's the first thing that you do when you go to a new city? First thing, you don't know anybody, you just landed in the city, so what's the first thing you do? You know you have rented a house, you go keep your bags there. What's the first thing you do? What's the first thing you do? Will you make friends immediately? What's the first thing you do? Ramesh, yes, Ramesh is more experienced here. Ramesh, what's the first thing you do? Completely new city, what's the first thing you do? Find about the city. Yes, find about the city. Would be looking around. Yep. You know what you do? You'll look around. Where will I get my cup of chai? Where will I get my cigarettes? Where is the booze shop? Where is the tiffin shop? Where is the medical store? Where can I buy my daily bread? You will explore the world, surroundings. That's the first thing you will do. You will not go and make friends immediately. You will first explore the world because you will survive. Philosophy also started like this. We did not get into questions immediately, big questions about life. No. If you look at, we were hunters and gatherers. We started lives as hunters. Hunters and gatherers had no questions like life, God, religion, nothing. They were obsessed with surviving. So they were trying to understand the world. So philosophy first started with this only, the world. Where does the world come from? How to understand the world? If you look at Rig Veda is all about understanding the world. Nature. If I have to survive, I have to understand the world. God cannot help me survive. I have to survive myself. Just by praying, you will not qualify exam, right? You have to study. God will not provide you food unless you know your world around. So that's why in Rig Veda also, if you notice something, they were trying to understand the world around them. They could not understand thunder. So they called Indra, God Indra, thunder, Lord God of thunder. They could not understand flowing water. So they called it Varun. So they were trying to understand the world. So philosophy started with the big questions about the world. About the world. What is the world made of? Not human life, about the world, because I have to understand the world. Then, once they understood the world, they started settling down. Then they realized, I can practice agriculture by the river banks. I can grow my own food by the river banks. That's what's happened. And once they started growing food, once they started settling down, they knew that, okay, my food is there. Now comes the next big question, life. Because now they had time. Earlier, just imagine if we all were hunter-gatherers right now. We all would have been, you would not have been sitting at home right now and studying. You would have been chasing some animal somewhere. Because that's your evening food. Happy life, right? No UPSC, nothing. Chasing some rabbit somewhere, killing it, because that's your food. Only because you're settled down. You know there's a food surplus. You know there's a food I can consume. There's a food stock. That's the reason you have time. So that's the time the questions of life come in. We start, then only we had questions. What life? What's the purpose? This is the time Upanishads come in. This is the time Buddha comes in. Life. What's the purpose? What's the purpose of this life? Why should I live? What's the purpose? Is there a purpose? And second big thing, as people started practicing agriculture, population increased. The moment population increased, peace had to be kept. Law and order had to be maintained. Otherwise, people would kill themselves. That's the time we had state coming in. King, military, and king needed taxes. Taxation system comes in. That's why, have you heard of the Bhaga, Bali, all that comes in. Ancient Indian history. Taxes. And one more thing. As the population increased, fine. Their job was to maintain the law and order. But also at the same time, society had to be regulated. That's the time all the social norms, society, social regulations come in. Caste became more rigid, Manu's laws comes in, all these things come in. That's how philosophy flowed. That's why philosophy is a product of time. Product of time. First step was to understand the world. Next come life. Then come organizing the state. If you look at French Revolution was about this, organizing state and society. Organizing state and society. I hope you are getting my points. That's how it flows. If you can understand this, you can understand any thinker anywhere. All right, right. So that's how it progressed. Let's move now. So the sequence remains the same. Let's move now. Now, we can skip this world part. There are two ways to understand the world. Listen now, there are two ways to understand the world. What's the best way to understand the world? To use science and understand the world, or use God to understand the world? Can you understand the world with the help of God's religion? Or what's the best way to understand the world? Using reason or religion? Greeks believed, listen to this now, science or God. If you say God created the world, that means religion. Who created the world? God? Or we still have not sorted the mystery? Greeks believe, listen. Some Greeks, not all Greeks, some Greeks believed, listen to this very carefully, some Greeks believed that the world could be understood by observation. The world could be understood by reason, by your own eyesight. By your own eyesight. For example, just by observing the flow of water, Just by observing the flow of river, I know in which season the river flow will be high. God doesn't need to tell me that. Just by looking at the stars and mapping the star path, I can predict what's the movement of the stars. I don't need God to tell me. So the Greeks believed, some of the Greeks believed this part. Understand the world by the use of reason, intelligence, without appealing to religion or tradition. That's how philosophy began. Understanding the world. We can understand the world by using reason, not by religion. And the best part, I can teach others also. Look at the next. I can teach others also to use their reason. I can teach people to use their reason. That's how philosophy started. That's the question. World first. This is how it starts. Arvind, how many are there? 40, 45? I was expecting this much only. Working day. All right, can I go to the next slide? Karthik, hi, good evening, Karthik. Nice to have you also. Copy, done. Chandramohan, thank you. Let's go to the next one. First philosopher for the day. First philosopher. And after every philosopher, I give you a question or give you a concept. Try preparing an answer for that because that's a question you can expect. I repeat, that's a question you can expect. Got it? It's about knowing the idea, not reading the philosophy. This is not a course in philosophy. This is about knowing the ideas and the relevance. Okay. First one was this. Thales. Thales of Miletus. Miletus is a place in Greece. And Thales is the name. That's a gentleman. Thales. Thales. And Thales had a very big question, the biggest question. In fact, he's the founder of philosophy. Everybody calls him the first scientist also, first genuine scientist also. He had the biggest question. You know, just like Indians, ancient Greeks were also superstitious. They also had thousands of gods, just like India, thousands of gods. They also had epics. Just like in India, we had thousands of gods. They also had thousands of gods. They were also equally superstitious. But there was very, very few people like Thales who were not superstitious, who were little scientific in looking at things. Thales believed, why do I need God to explain the world? Why can't I understand the world using my own senses? So he had this big question, what is this world made of? You know, have you thought about this? When you're standing on the ground, when you walk on the road, did this question ever occur to you? What is this world made of? Where did it all start? Who made it? Who created it? I don't think these questions come to your head ever. What is this earth made of? Anusha is an architect. She deals with the world every day with mud, mortar and cement. So what is this world made of? Big question. And interestingly, we have not answered this question even now. It's the biggest question in physics. We are still looking for God's particle. We still have not unraveled the mystery. That's why we blindly believe God created. But Thales said, how? Why? If you look at physics, the purpose of physics is that's only trying to understand this world. And Thales' biggest question was this only. What is this world made of? 2013 Nobel Prize for Physics was given for God's particle. We are still searching for the God's particle. Same question. We are still looking for answers. We still don't know what is this world made of. Dark matter, antimatter, all matter we're talking about, all are conjectures. We have not cracked the code. Interesting? A question, it's immortal question. And this is a question that drives science today. Completely drives science. And why he had this question was, what he said was, if you understand the world, you control the world better. Look at the word. You understand the world, you control the world better. For example, just to prove this point, Thales did this also. Just to prove to the Greeks that you can understand, Greeks were superstitious. I'll just give an example from his life. Greeks believed rivers are gods. Just like Indians, rivers are gods. Don't mess with the river. Ganga is a goddess flowing out of Shiva. Don't mess with Ganga. Kaveri is a goddess. Don't mess with Kaveri. Narmada is a goddess. Don't mess with Narmada, please. Belief. And Greeks also believed that these goddesses, these gods have spirits. So don't mess with the rivers. Thales said, that's water. It's the same water we drink every day. How can this be God? So just to prove a point, see, so the best part about Thales was, had he made the statement openly, he would have been killed. Because everybody is superstitious. So that's why he was observing the river. He observed the river for 1 whole year, maintained data, understood the flow of water. And after understanding it, he told everybody that I can divert the course of river. If river is a god, it will stop me, but it will not stop me because he proved it also. He diverted the course of water because he understood the flow. What is today? I mean, when we build a dam, what do? We understand the river water flow. Then we build a dam. What are we doing? We're controlling the river. So that's what he did. That's what he did. Look at the words here. This beautifully, he said this. Wanted to establish that nature can be observed, understood, and controlled. Science. What does science do today? It does that only. It does that only. Newton's law of gravitation, we understood gravitation, we are trying to control that. Yes or no? So that is what science is all about. Acha, what do you do in school lab experiments? I'm sure you do the same thing. Experiment, aim of the experiment, apparatus used, procedure, then comes what? Observation. You're doing the same. Observed. That's why he says first genuine scientist. First genuine scientist. Copy this and the question. I'll come back to the question a little later also. Bhanu, cheers. I know you're also having coffee. Cup of poison. Cheers. Look at the word genuine scientist, non-superstitious. All right, can I go to the next one? Right, copied. Thanks. Chalo, okay. Now here comes the question, which you have to prepare an answer for. 150 words, maximum 150 words. The question. Now that's what UPSC will ask you. This is a statement given by Thales. The world can be explained without appealing to gods. Do you agree? Do you disagree? If you say yes, that means you're a person of science. If you say no, that means religion. So how do you explain the world? Very important question. Very important question. Very important question. So how do you explain this? It is extremely interesting. I'll be spending a space probe. ISRO will be spending a rocket to space. It will start by puja. We'll do a puja first, then we'll send the rocket. So we are a wonderful compromise of science and religion. I'm sure you must have noticed this. Rafale jets came with lemon attached to it. They tied a lemon to Rafale jet also. It's an airplane, you're tying. Oh, Indians also do this, right? When you buy a new car, first thing what do you do? Before you do, you take it to the temple. Do all that puja and aarti so the car is... Come on, it's a car, right? So this is what Thales was trying to say. The world can be explained without appealing to gods. Important question, so have your perspective. Right, let's go to the next thinker. It's so funny, but that's a reality. Every Indian car will have God's picture inside the car because that's our life insurance. No airbags. It's not airbags. It's God's picture that saves us. Seriously. Haven't you noticed when a person takes a car for the first time in the morning, he'll pray to the steering, then he'll start the car. Steering becomes a God. All right. This is something, please prepare. And it can be, you can, both sides. You can agree also, you can disagree also. I repeat, Chandramohan, I know you will disagree with this. You will say God created this world. I'm very sure about that, Chandramohan. And the best part, Chandramohan is an engineer. All right. Let's go to the next one. Now, have you ever, tonight to do this, go to the terrace or an open park, just stand there and look at the sky. Have you ever seen the stars? Open sky, open sky. The moment you see the open sky, two thoughts will come to your mind. Two thoughts. One, the moment you see the sky, you feel you're so small. In this whole universe, big, vast universe, you're just a small dot, small speck, insignificant. That's the first thought that will come to your mind. Oh, that's the first feeling. Second is, it should raise to a question also, who created that? How did it all start? Where? So now you know the question got expanded. It went to the next level. From the world, it went to universe. Have you heard of Stephen Hawking's? He tried to understand the beginning of it. I'm sure all of you must have heard of a Big Bang Theory. Universe. Today we are sending probe to Mars. Why? Because I want to understand that. If I understand Mars, I control Mars much better. Why do we have NASA? Why do we have ISRO? Why do we do space research? Because I want to understand that. So Anaximander took the question forward. This man took the question forward. Cosmos, not world, cosmos. This vast expanse of sky, the stars, the moon, the sun, how it all started? Who started it? Expanded the course of question. Look at the early developer of cosmological theory. He started something called astronomy. If you look at astronomy, what do we do today? We are trying to study the universe. What does NASA do? Why is it we launched Mangalyaan mission? We are trying to understand the universe. Interesting, right? Look at the way it has progressed. From world, we shifted to universe. Big, vast universe. And these questions are relevant even now. And cosmology is this origins and development of universe. So the question is still the same. God created universe, or we can try, or we can explore universe on our own and understand. How do you want to play that? So the first two thinkers, Thales and Anaximander, were only looking at the world and the universe, and they strongly believed that the world universe can be explained without the help of gods. I repeat, without the help of gods. We can use our reason to understand the world. Make sense? Religion or science? Okay. Now next, one very interesting thinker. May I proceed? All right, we can skip this. Pythagoras. Pythagoras, this is not about Pythagoras theorem, by the way. I'm not going to ask you about Pythagoras theorem. I know all of you know the theorem. Yeah, I know, Chandra. Everybody knows it. Every school kid knows Pythagoras. Every school kid, it's drilled into our head. And when you start your school, you study one subject from the day one. English and maths. Science comes later. English and maths. They teach you alphabets, they teach you numbers. Two things a child learns in first standard. ABC, 1, 2, 3. Maths, alphabets and numbers. Alphabets and numbers. Basic. Without these two, no education is possible. And the number part is this man's contribution to our life. I hate maths, seriously. I hated maths all my life. It's not that I'm bad with maths. It's only things I never took a liking for that subject. So that means I hated Pythagoras all my life. Why? Why? I said, seriously, maths helps us anywhere? Studying maths, does it help you anywhere? No. It doesn't help us anywhere. But still we are condemned to learn right from day one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And parents, worst thing is multiplication table. Tables of 1 to 20. Mug it up. Otherwise you get beat by... All of you must have gone through that. And I'm very sure some of you would have mugged up tables till 50 also. Life is all maths. Okay, talking about life is all maths, I have this question. Next time when you open your engineering books or when you open your science books, just take out the formulas. Just take out the formulas. If you take out the formulas, will science make sense? If you take out the equations from chemistry book, just take out the equations from the chemistry book. Will chemistry make sense? Not at all. Not at all. Right now, Dr. Vinisha is drinking something. If I ask her what is water, she'll not be able to define it. She'll say H2O. What is water? H2O. She'll give you a formula. She'll give you a formula. You ask somebody what is sulfuric acid? H2SO4. Formula. I'll ask you what is law of gravitation, will give me a formula. Einstein is famous for his formula only. What is formula? Maths. Equations are formulas, maths. That is Pythagoras. Pythagoras said, in this world, everything is numbers. In this world, everything is formulas and equations, numbers. Number. Date of birth, number. Number of attempts, UPSC, number. Minimum cutoff, number. Age, number. Oh, Aadhaar card, number. Mobile phone number. Your life is numbers only. Sir, what's your WhatsApp number? Your life is numbers. Every address will have a number, house number. So this is what is mathematical realism. Mathematical realism means the world is nothing but numbers. You understand the number, you understand the world. Seriously, that's the reason maths is taught. That's this man's contribution. Mathematical realism. Age is just a number. Yeah, very true, Naveen. Age is not just Mathematics increases reasoning. Yes, Ramesh, that's what the idea is, mathematical realism. That's the reason maths and language is the beginning of education. Numbers and alphabets. You understand numbers, you understand everything in life. Pythagoras. And Pythagoras famously said this, everything in this universe conforms to mathematical rules and ratios. Find that, you understand the world. Seriously, everything in this universe is ratios only, proportion, balanced diet, ratio. This much carbohydrate, this much protein, this much fats. Ratio. Life is all about ratios and numbers. So what he said is mathematics is a tool to understand the mysteries of universe. That's why maths is there almost every subject except for history. You'll find maths everywhere. In philosophy also there is maths called logic. Maths. That's why in UPSC exam also CSAT has a maths part, reasoning, maths, numbers. So if we understand the number and mathematical ratio, we understand the structure of the cosmos, formulas, numbers. So he gave a tool to understand the world. Tool. Method to understand the world. So again he says, it's not God, numbers. It's not God, numbers. Understand the numbers, you understand the world. God cannot help you here. Great contribution. And thanks to him, today also we study science. Our education starts with science because his idea was very simple. If you want to understand the world, understand the numbers. Not God, numbers. Right. So first three, this is about world. Thales, Anaximander, Pythagoras, all about the world. World. If you look at Indian philosophy also, we had Aryabhatta, we had great mathematicians. You remember Aryabhatta, they were all mathematicians. Because they also believe numbers are very important to understand. If you look at computer science, it's all numbers, right? Bits and, it's all numbers, 0 and 1. We're all zeros or ones. Chandramohan, what? We are zeros and ones? Arvind, Anna, poetsma. Screen off ஆயிடுச்சா இல்ல connection போயிடுச்சா? Screen off ஆயிடுச்சா? சரி எழுப்பு. Screen எழுப்பு கொஞ்சம். Guys, 1 minute. Right. Can you guys see me? Because I lost connection for some couple of seconds. Okay, you guys are there? All right. Right, thanks a lot. Thank you. All right, so let's go to the next one. So this is about world. Thales, Anaximander, Pythagoras. World. And what they believed was, you don't need God to understand the world. You don't need religion to understand the world. What you need is maths, numbers, mathematical realism. Mathematical realism. All right. Next. Life. We shift gears now. From world, we are moving to life. Now the questions, because by now knowledge had increased, people started settling down, they started practicing agriculture, life became a little settled. Now became questions like this. What are the rules of living? If I have to live together, what rules? If I have to live together, what rules? If you have to live in harmony, what rules? What rules should I follow for my life? Look at the words. What rules should I follow for my life? Further, purpose of life. What's the purpose? What's the purpose of living? Moksha. What's the purpose? Have you asked this question to yourself? What's the purpose? Fine, you become an IAS officer, what next? What's the purpose? You're going to die anyway. Anyway, your body will be burnt. IAS officer, Prime Minister, rickshawala, beggar, everybody's body is burnt. If it doesn't burn, they'll pour petrol and burn it completely. So, what's the purpose? You're all working so hard, and the best part is you cannot carry your IAS degree to the wherever you go. Can you? No. So what's the purpose? Why? It's useless, right? All the struggle. Just think logically. It's no point. You work so hard, add 3 alphabets to your name, and after that one fine day, you die, and everything goes. You can't carry anything. So the big question, what's the purpose of living? What's the purpose? Do we have a soul? Big question. Do we have a soul? Does the soul transmit? All these questions came up. And now comes the biggest question. What's the best life? What do you think is the best life? Being an IAS is a job. It's not going to give you a best life. What's the best life? Vinisha is a doctor. That's a job. Best life. Being an architect is a career, it's a job. What's the best life? Buddha was a prince, but he didn't find the life best. He left it to find the best life. What's the best life? Ashoka was a king, but he lived like a monk. Best life. Gandhi led a best life in that minimal clothes. Last one. Thinking became human-centric. Now life became the question, not world. It all became human-centric. Copy this. That's the next level of philosophy. Next stage of philosophy. I think this is easy, right? Now we can grapple with that. Now you can understand how it's all progressing. Now it's easy for you. Living life which we like without comparing with others. Okay, Nandini, I'll come back to this question a little later also. Most interesting part. Okay. The first thinker who explored these big questions of life was Socrates. He is the one who changed the course of philosophy. He made very human-centric. What he said is human life matters. Understand human life, not the world outside. Now, this was asked in 2020. So we should not waste too much time doing it because this will not be repeated again. See, remember one thing, they have asked you 3 big Greek thinkers, Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, all of them have been asked. So they will shift to modern philosophy, modern thinkers, because modern India. Now that's a question that this is a statement he had. Life which is unexamined is not worth living. As a human being, we have to examine our life, not the world outside. So his biggest question was, there's no point spending money on space research. Understand human life. There's no point exploring the question of distance of Earth to Moon. It's not going to help anybody. That was his idea. Suppose UPSC asks you this question, what will you say? All the expense on space research, it is useful. Achha, the other day ISRO sent some satellites to space. Will it change our life? Has our life changed? Neil Armstrong landed on moon. Our lives have changed? Any American's life has changed? Nothing. Point, right? So why not spend your energy on understanding your own life? You are trying to understand something which you'll never understand. At least try understanding your own life. Life unexamined. Achha, seriously speaking, leave this out. I'll give you time to copy it also. Seriously speaking, have you ever examined your life? Have you ever sat down, understood your life? Examined. Have you thought about this? Is my life going the right direction? Jyoti, hi, good afternoon, good evening. Is my life going the right direction? Achha, I have this question to all of you. Do you guys live or do you guys exist? Are you living or existing? Are you living or existing? Second, exist. I think I had this question earlier also, but this question, hi, Jyoti, good evening. Oh, it's nice to see that Prashant also has joined us. Prashant, hi, good evening. Good to have you. To be frank, existing. To be frank, existing. Ramesh, to be frank, existing. Second, existing. Nobody's living? Okay. Sondra says one. Okay, Sondra is living. Okay. Bhanu says, Bhanu what? One or two? Living or existing Bhanu? Bhanu also lives. Okay. Right. Vasant also is living. Amazing. Not living. You know what? Seriously. Let me explain this. Don't take it personally again. Don't take it personally again. You all are thinking right now, Ramesh is right. You're all thinking that you're living. No, you're not. You're all existing. If you look at your life, if you look at your life, every day morning you get up, have your coffee or tea, read your Hindu newspaper, study for the day, have lunch, sleep, evening class, dinner, sleep. Next day it's the same. Hindu newspaper, UPSC preparation. If Anusha goes to college, she'll go to college, come back. Vinisha will go to hospital, come back. Next day again the same. Does it all have any meaning? This whole thing, this whole class of mind, does it have any meaning to you all right now? It has no meaning. Seriously, it has no meaning. It has meaning in future if you qualify. If you don't qualify this exam, all this studying ethics and all this is absolutely useless, meaningless. You're just going through a routine every day, time pass. The world around you doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make sense. What you're doing doesn't make sense right now. It will make sense only if you qualify the exam. If you don't qualify, this is all useless. Jyoti logging at 6 o'clock and studying, it's all useless. Bhanu leaving a job preparing for this exam, it's all useless if you don't qualify. Examine. That's what Socrates was saying. Examine. Examine your life. That's why I keep telling my students, boss, work hard. Otherwise, all this will become meaningless. Trust me. It'll be a meaningless waste of life. Oh, me teaching you, it has a lot of meaning to me. I enjoy this. I enjoy this. I'll tell you, I'll share why this whole thing of teaching you all makes me. I'll share something here. Why this is meaningful to me, why this whole interaction adds meaning to me. You know, yesterday I finished my regular batches. Today, as I'm finishing your course, I finished the regular batches course yesterday. And after I finished the classes, I was going back. And a student's mom called me up. A student's mother called me up. And she was all little choked with emotion. She was telling me that my son was in a depression for the last 18 months. And he was on medication. We took him to all kinds of clinical psychologists and everything. And he started preparing for this exam that was going on. But last 15 days of your classes, I saw a big change. He stopped taking sleeping pills. He was completely dependent on sleeping pills. He had stopped taking sleeping pills. He was sleeping normally. Now that one small call, and he sent me a text also message. I posted on my Instagram also. Now that is meaning to me. You know, this whole trip became meaningful by that one call, by that one message. And in fact, later I spoke to the boy also. That is what his meaning is all about. That's what, I mean, that's what life is all about. Whatever actions you do, it has to have some meaning. And what you guys are doing, it'll have meaning if you qualify. So that's why make this meaningful. That's why you should examine your life. Whatever you're doing right now, make it meaningful by qualifying this exam. So that That's why Socrates was very, very emphatic. Examine. So that it's a positive statement. What he's saying is examine so that you're able to make your life more meaningful. If you don't examine, you'll never make your life meaningful. And making life meaningful doesn't mean moksha or liberation, all that. Making life meaningful is like finding something good in your own actions. Right? So that is what Socrates said. If doing for self then existing, doing for other than living. Yes, whatever you do, you have to do for others also. We live in community, right? Sindhya, hi, good evening, Sindhya. Sindhya, glad that you could join us. You know, that call was really surprising to me, out of the blue. Okay, people say, students say, okay, I learned a lot and all that is fine. But this was something out of the blue. Out of the blue. Anyway, let's go to the next one. Can we proceed? This has been asked earlier, so it will not be asked again, I'm very sure. What will be asked is not this. What will be asked is this part, this man. Now, he was raising this question. Sindhya, good evening. I see you also. Hi. Now, this man had this biggest question. What's the best life? What's the best life? And Mahatma Gandhi was his follower. And today we are getting back to his ideas only. What he said, he has the most, who's most content with the least. Contentment. What he said is the best life is life of minimalism. Minimalism. Need. Your need should be fulfilled, not your greed. Minimal. For example, if you look at Mahatma Gandhi, he believed in that minimal. Couple of dhotis, 2 footwears, 2 sandals, 1 fountain pen, 2 pairs of specs, his life was done. And if you look at today's world, the problem of today's world is consumerism. We believe in consumption, consuming, maximum. I'll just give you an example. Why is it the world is not sustainable right now? Why is it we talk about sustainable development? Why? Because of overconsumption. Because we have consumed to such an extent, we destroyed the world. It's about need. It's not about your greed. We live in a world of consumerism. Look at Indian weddings. Just go to Indian wedding. Okay, I have started seeing this in Chennai also. Oh, last night I went to a buffet in Chennai and tonight also I'm invited. That's why I preponed the class a bit. I have a dinner to attend of some wedding function to attend. It was so funny. Big buffet. At the center of the buffet was salads. Big salad counter. All kinds of vegetables. Who will eat salads in a wedding buffet? Nobody. Next time you also observe, will people eat salads on a wedding buffet? No. Half of them are drunk. They'll end up going to all the spicy food counter. Nobody comes to salads. And that salad will be trashed. Waste. But why they put the salad? Because people say, oh, without salad they served food. Come on. People are going hungry in this world. Why waste? See, first of all, do you have to get married with all that pomp? Do you have to show to the world that I am getting married, my daughter is getting married? Why can't you just get married, get the boy's father, mother, the girl's father, mother, boy and the girl. 6 people, wedding done. Go to court, register it, done, right? Why do we need to have that consumption? Why can't you be happy with the phone, right? Why is it that you have to have an iPhone 12 Pro? Phone is a phone, right? Phone is a phone. And you know what is, it's a trap, seriously. Last year they come out with iPhone 11, this year iPhone 12. Today morning Samsung says S21. Come on. It's the same bloody thing. And what are we doing? Achha, let me tell you something. Why I'm telling you this is because we are contributing to e-waste. The moment you buy a new phone, what are you doing with the old phone? You're trashing it. E-waste. That is why be content with the least. Content, minimum. Minimum, not maximum. Minimalism, not consumerism. And today, that's the reason we are talking about sustainable development. Why development sustainable? Because we have to be content. I hope you got the point. Achha, have you noticed something? A lot of you are watching me, it's dinner time. I should ask you this question. Bhanu, you must have seen this. Bhanu, you must have seen this. All of you, Cynthia, you must have all seen this at home also. That when food is good, everybody takes credit. Oh, I cooked. When the food is wasted, nobody takes credit for that. Why? Just look at your home. When the food is wasted, nobody takes credit for that. But food is good, everybody takes credit. Food waste, and every home in India wastes a certain amount of food, 100%. Contentment, minimalism, sustainable development, all that is connected to this man's idea. Why I'm talking about today is because we talk about sustainable development today. Why? Because this man spoke about that time itself. Content. Gandhi was a great believer of this idea. Friends will kill us if we do this in the wedding. Oh yes. So you have to keep your friends happy. That's why all the salads and all that, right? Okay. Chalo, anyway, got the point? All right. Shall I go to the next one? Now, what he said is the best life. Now, look at this. He gave an idea. Please write at the top, best life, sustainable development, minimalism, because that's the theme. And you will be given a quote on this. Sustainable development, minimalism. Remember that. Okay. Good life. Interesting. Good life. What is good life is not, you know why we are never happy? Because we constantly chase. We are never happy with, oh yes, just look at this. The day I buy a new scooter, I'm not happy with the scooter. 2 months I enjoy the scooter. 3rd month, I start looking at a Maruti car. I buy a new Maruti car. 2 months I'm happy with that. 3rd month I start looking at Honda City. I buy a Honda City. 2 months I'm happy. Then I start looking at Toyota Innova. You buy an Innova, you're not happy. I want a Fortuner. You buy a Fortuner, I'm not happy. I want a Porsche. You're not happy there also, then I want to buy an airplane. Come on. You didn't enjoy anything in life. You just consumed and consumed and consumed and you die. What did you enjoy? Nothing. So your life is not good. Why? Because you're constantly chasing and chasing and chasing. It's the same thing with you also. You know, I have seen officers, probationers. You know, I've seen a lot of these kids right from aspirant to in academy also. Right now, you're all happy with the job. The moment you qualify, the moment you come down to Mercedes for training, the first thing is like, I should get my home cadre. The moment you get your home cadre, you're not happy. I should get my district posting. You're not happy there also. I need to get married to a good girl. And you start hunting around for other services where the girl is. You get married. Oh, then the next. I should have a good house after retirement. You start planning the house. Then the house is planned, then next kids come in. Oh, kids education. My kid has to go to Harvard. Start planning that. You're constantly chasing and chasing and chasing. By the time where's the time to be happy? You are happy in the grave only. There also you're not happy because you're burnt. Point is, desires. Good life. In order to lead a good life, it's necessary to free oneself from internal discontentment that is caused by desire, emotion, and fear. Leave out the word fear. My biggest thing is desire. To have a good life, life of contentment, you have to free yourself from desire. Desire. Actually, do you know the meaning of the word monogamy? Girls will know that, boys will not understand what monogamy is. Some of the boys will say it's a piece of furniture, right? Is it strong? Okay, all right. Idea of monogamy is, why can't you be happy with one person? Why do you have to have multiple partners in life? Desire. Okay, can I continue? May I proceed? Lord Ram is the best example of monogamy. Yes, Chandramohan. Oh, Chandramohan, so your favorite god is Lord Ram. I got it now. So, guys, start playing Lord Ram. He'll ensure that you qualify the exam. Have you contributed to Ram Temple, Chandramohan? Did you contribute? All right, good. Your life is within cup of coffee, it seems. Oh, yes, absolutely. My life is cup of coffee only. Akhilesh. Akhilesh, you're there. Nice to see you. Can I go to the next slide? Chandramohan finished? Next one, further he adds. Now, this can be achieved by being content to live a simple life, a life that takes care of your needs. Okay, I'm going to connect this to public services. Once you become an IAS officer, your needs are taken care of by Government of India. You are paid a salary. Not a high salary, but you're paid a decent salary. Your needs are taken care of. Salary. You're given a house. You are given health benefits. Not only for you, for your entire family. You are given a car to travel. What more you need? Why do you need to take a bribe? Why can't you enjoy that simple life? I'm giving you a house, I'm giving you health, I'm giving you a minimum salary every month, decent salary every month, not exact, decent salary every month. I give you a car, office, to go to office and come back in comfort. What more you need? Why can't you live a simple life of a humble public civil servant? The problem in today's bureaucracy is this only. It's not about simple life. Now it's all complicated life. You know, the other day somebody was telling me, some of these young IPS officers, they're Instagram celebrities. And one senior officer was telling me, he was a DGP rank officer, he was telling me, when do these guys work? Every day they have some new picture in uniform on the Instagram. When do these guys work? And he had this, I wonder who takes these pictures for these people. Are they living to serve people or living for Instagram? Oh, you should do this IPS and you'll see a lot of these guys. Uniform, what? What are you trying to do? You want to be a celebrity? I thought public civil service is all about being anonymous. Anonymous worker. But where is it? So what are they doing? They're not leading us. It's getting more and more complicated. More and more complicated. So Diogenes, copy that. I hope I connected it to civil service also. Copy this. Who are left in the forest, that too when they are pregnant. Okay. What will we do with Sitas then, who are left in the forest, that too when they are pregnant? Oh yes. Don't want Ram anymore, sir. Yes. Somebody had, that's a nice question. Thanks, Sri Lakshmi. That's a nice question. Sri Lakshmi, Elon Musk will do. Not Ram, Elon Musk will do. Sri Lakshmi, I'm just pulling a leg. It'll be fun. Copy it, guys. Can I go to the next one? Yes or no? All right. Now, one big question. Last and the most biggest question. And you can expect question on this. What is modern about us? I'm sure all of you must have read this Indian history. Modern India. What is modern about us? You know, it's real fun, serious fun in your UPSC interview. Why? Because a lot of engineers take history as an option. It says, you study engineering for 4 years and you take history as an option. Why? We don't understand and it's fun for us. And when the engineer comes to the interview and he has history option, I'll ask you this question. You studied modern India. What is modern about India? And seriously, the best part is when you have a question like, what is modern about India? He will keep scratching his head. This was not there anywhere. No coaching institute taught me this question. What is ancient about ancient India? Today we call us as modern. What is modern about us? Me, you? What is modern about this country? What is modern about today's India? Any idea? That's a question we need to explore. What is modern about us? I'm talking about modern about us. Okay. Digitalization, okay. Right. History is a static syllabus. Okay. Static. Nice. That's the reason we take history, right? It helps. All right. Widespread. What is modern about? Widespread practice of democracy in India. Okay. We'll come into that. I'll come to modern part a little later. You know what is modern about us is, I'll answer the question, then I'll move forward. What is modern about us is, listen now, it's not there in the slide. I want to listen. What is modern about us is when you read your preamble next time, Constitution, preamble. What is modern about us is the word we, W-E. We the people. India was never a democracy. India was never a republic. The moment I say we the people, that means we are democracy. That means we elect our government, franchise, equal franchise, adult franchise, modern. When I say modern, we the people means we are the sovereign power. I have a change to replace one government with other government. We. And if you look at the preamble is a small document, but that's a core of entire constitution. It's constitutional morality, constitutional philosophy. It contains some basic values of a constitution, of India itself. Liberty, equality, justice, franchise, all that is there. That is what is modern about us. The whole document. Modern. And these ideas came from the West. We borrowed the idea of liberty from American Revolution. We borrowed the idea of equality from French Revolution. Why do you think they're teaching you French Revolution, American Revolution syllabus? Because of this. Our notions of modernity have come from the West. Liberty, equality, two great ideas. Justice. If you look at India's entire justice system, it's all drawn from the West. That's why Rawls was asked, John Rawls, justice. We use a frame called positive discrimination. I hope you know the word positive discrimination. We give reservations so that others move forward in life. Opportunities. All these are concepts from the West. This makes us modern. And one of the greatest ideas that make us modern was contributed by this man, John Locke. John Locke. Okay, Jyoti, I'll just get back. 1 minute, we finish with this. Okay, meanwhile, Jyoti, you copy this. Meanwhile, I have a question to all of you. How many religions do we have in our country? How many religions? How many religions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 50, 60, 100. How many religions? I'm not saying gods. I'm asking religions. How many? How many religions do we have? Still counting? Okay, Chandramohan says 5. Okay, great. How many religions we have? 6. Chandramohan says 50. Chandramohan, you typed 50. Chandramohan typed 50. There are 50 religions. Exact number. What? 50 gods. 6. Okay. Many. Okay. Anusha, you're the smartest one. Many. What is that many? What is that many? All right, chalo, I'll explain this. Many. Okay, fair enough. Acha. Now, can you tell me, there are many religions, there are 6 religions, there are lots of religions, fine. Can you tell me which religion is a true religion? Can you tell me which God is the most powerful God? Shiva is powerful or Vishnu is powerful? Can you tell me by praying to which God you qualify UPSC? You cannot, right? You cannot. The biggest fight in today's world is that only every religion says my religion is true. How can you prove that? How can you prove that my God is better than your God? How can you prove that my prayers are better than your prayers? How can you prove that? Since we cannot prove this, you know something, medieval times there was a war called Crusades. The war was between Islam and Christianity. And the fight was to prove which is a better religion, more powerful religion. We cannot prove this. We cannot prove which God is better, whose prayers are better. We cannot prove it. We cannot say that which festival is better. Eid is better or Diwali is better. Christmas is better or Holi is better. We cannot do all this. Even government cannot do that. So the best thing we can do is, I accept your God, you accept my God. I accept your festivals, you accept my festivals. I accept your prayers, you accept my prayers. Tolerance. That's lock for you. No fight at all because we cannot prove. So why fight? Nobody can prove. Nobody can prove. So this is what John Locke said. Tolerance. This laid the foundation for India's big modernity. Secular. Tolerant, secular. And that is what he said. Earthly judges, that is we, earthly judges, the state in particular, and human beings generally, cannot evaluate the truth claims of competing religions. We cannot evaluate. We cannot prove which religion is better. We cannot. We cannot prove which God is the best God. That's why in India we have this wonderful practice. Monday I worship a certain God, Tuesday I worship somebody else, Wednesday I worship somebody else, Thursday I worship, all gods are kept happy. Best. Because we cannot prove which is the best God. So I worship everybody. Have you noticed something? When you go to temple, you start with Ganesha. You first go to Ganesha, then you pray the other, and you circle the entire gods and come back. Everybody is happy. You know what? Next time when you go to temples, you should remember me. 100% going to remember me next time when you go to temples. I promise you that. Okay. Now further, belief cannot be compelled by violence. I cannot force somebody to believe in a certain God. Belief cannot be compelled by violence. And the last most big point. We cannot coerce religious uniformity. We cannot force people to become religiously uniform. Secular is that only. Diversity. We should allow for the diversity. It's very disturbing to see those consequences. Yes, India is moving to... Yeah. Vinesh, I completely agree. That's why the statement. Vinesh, I completely agree with that. That's why this is an important question you will have. That's why if they ask you what is modern about India, that question comes. Start with the preamble, explain the word we, just like I explained. Then, if not that, you will have a question on the word tolerance. It's a very, very important. If you look at today's world, the biggest problem is this only. If you see religious fundamentalism rising everywhere in the world, why? Because of this only. We don't appreciate the other. Something, by fighting or bombing or killing, we cannot prove which God is powerful. So why fight? Accept it. Can we prove which God is powerful? We cannot. In the process, we are just destroying lives. All right, let's go to the next one. But the government always displays caste status in exam results, which isn't discriminatory. Yes, it is. Caste is a different issue altogether. Ramesh, caste has become a different issue altogether. It's not part of religion, but it's become a different issue altogether. Okay, next one. Now, this is the last slide on thinkers. Now, this is where I want to pay a lot of attention. Your world history covers entire 18th century. All modern period is covered. 18th century means 1701 onwards. World history. And that's the time the world was shifting towards modernization. Industrial revolution came in. That's the century when we had all these issues. First, colonization came in. Why colonization is important for us is because Western ideas came into India. Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, Western education, all this started coming into India. Missionaries. So Western ideas, Western concepts started coming into our country. Second, this was the time when Industrial Revolution happened. Industrialization. And industrialization brought in a new economic system. I repeat, factory system, labor acts, labor movement, trade union movement, their own ideas, all this began. And this was the time when American Revolution also happened. This was the time French Revolution happened. And this is the birth of modern world. That's why when you study this section, you'll be studying about Adam Smith, you'll be studying about Kant, you'll be studying about all these people. When you do French Revolution, please study Rousseau very well. Because French Revolution is about equality. American Revolution is about liberty. So my request to all of you is, when you're doing world history, cover the thinkers there. And I'm going to prescribe a book for you. You can connect both. What you study in history can be connected with the book. It'll be easy for you. Don't duplicate things here. Don't study this section separately for this paper. It's already there in your history because you cover all this in your history. Right. I'll give you 3 books. And you can do it. Nowadays, fight comes from actors also. Oh yes, fight comes from actors also. True. All right. Now follow this. The first book I'm going to prescribe is Incarnations. First, understand, then you copy the title of the book. The PDFs are available online. You can download it free. You know what torrents are? Is it legal to download torrent? Bhanu is smiling. No, right? But we love, our life is torrent. Without torrent, we don't have a life. So that's why I say PDFs are available. Okay. Incarnations. It's a book written by Sunil Khilnani. He's alive. He's a wonderful scholar. Sunil Khilnani. A History of India in 50 Lives. What he has done is he has covered entire Indian history, all the big thinkers and philosophers in 50 chapters. And it starts right from Buddha to Ashoka to Kautilya to Tiruvallur. Everybody is covered. There is Dhirubhai Ambani also, there is J.R.D. Tata also. You can leave all of them. Just pick up the relevant ones. And this is good enough for this exam. I repeat, this is good enough for this exam. And 1. Secondly, if you don't want to read the book, there's a podcast of it. Sunil Khilnani has done a podcast, which is available on BBC. When you can just Google BBC podcasts, BBC radio show, Incarnations, India in 50 Lives. You will find Sunil Khilnani's podcast. You can listen to it. You can just download it, listen to it whenever you feel like. It'll give an idea. Incarnation, that's one. Second is this book, Philosophy, 100 Essential Thinkers. How many 100 essential thinkers? It's by Philip Stokes. The person is Philip Stokes. And the best part here is, this will give you minimum information that's needed for this exam. He doesn't deal with philosophy in detail. He just talks about philosophers' contribution, thinkers' contribution. You will find Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, everybody here. And all of them will be covered in 2 pages only, 2 pages. Very slim, good enough for this exam. And pick out the right thinkers. When you're doing world history, when you're studying French Revolution, read about Rousseau from here. Read about Voltaire from here. When you're doing capitalism, read Adam Smith from here. When you're doing communism, read Marx from here. That's how you use the books. And focus more on modern, not ancient. Why? Because Socrates has been asked, Aristotle has been asked. Modern. Got it? Modern. Remember that. And the last book is for people who are a little bit more ambitious. Some of you would like to read more, like Chandra Mohan likes to read more. So that more, for Chandra Mohan, this especially. And this is Big Ideas Simply Explained, the philosophy book. It's little thick, it's a big book. It's little advanced, I'm telling you, little advanced. So copy the titles and you can use these books, these are good enough. So you said that use torrent is unethical. Yes, but people use it. You download from torrent only. Otherwise, buy the book. If you want to be ethical, buy the book. Kindle editions are available, hard copies are available, you can buy the book. Or you can get from the library. Most libraries have these books now. Most college libraries have the books now. Most college libraries. Because these are good readings. Alright, we have done with the course. The theory part is over. Now we come to the second part of it. Case studies. Half an hour more, I would have done with case study part also. Okay, now I'll break a couple of myths that you guys have. Case studies are not about practicing 100 case studies. Don't do that. You guys, without knowing, without you realizing, I have taught you case studies already. All my stories were case studies only. If you remember when I was talking about procedural fairness, I give you a case about this old lady and a visually challenged son. You remember that story? There was this old lady with a blind son, visually challenged son coming. You remember that story? That was a case study. I have got into case studies very early, without you guys realizing it also. Without you realizing. Because had I said, oh, this is case study, that's how you do it, you'll never learn. You already know what case studies are through my stories and those situations. Have you noticed I have put you in all situations? So you already know the concepts. Now you just have to apply it. For example, when I was dealing with sexual harassment, I gave you a case study there. You remember that? I taught you what is harassment, I taught you the impact, then I did a case. If you remember girl child's education, adolescent girls school going thing, I discussed the concept, then I gave you a case. I've already done case studies with all of you, without you realizing it. Today I'll teach you how to write, how to frame it, how to structure it. I repeat, how to structure it. And I'll give you a template, copy the template and stick to it. I repeat, copy the template, stick to it. Don't go beyond it. Don't go beyond it. Okay. Now, we have some admissive thinkers part, but can we relate concepts to the... Yes, you can do that. Cynthia, you can do that. Thinkers are thinkers. No. Ramesh, only the first two. Ramesh, the yellow book is little advanced. That's for people like Chandra Mohan. For people like us, first two books are good enough. Good evening, Asha. Hi, good evening, Asha. Asha, good evening. Asha, nice to see you also. All right. Now, when I say case study, I'll scare you a bit. Can I scare you all? Little bit of fear is important. The biggest mistake people do, and the scariest truth nobody tells you about case study, I'm going to tell you that. Nobody, you will see there are a lot of coaching institutes, they talk about online, you'll find a lot of online guidance. That's how you write this. But nobody tells you the most scariest truth. The most scariest truth is case study is not about writing. You have to read the case first. You have to understand the case first. That means if you look at ethics question paper, case studies are long. Case studies are long. You have to read. You have to read. For example, in 2013, the length of the case study, only case study questions, were 900 words. Can you imagine how much time do you read? How much time do you require to read 900 words? Why is it we never calculate this? All of you, writing. Boss, read first. 2014, 870 words. 960 words. Interesting. 970 words. 2018 was the 2017 was luckiest, 600 words. Luckiest year. 2018 was the most horrible year, 1200 words. People could not finish the paper that year. That year was the worst results in ethics. Why? Because people could not finish the paper. Obviously, just imagine, you have a 3-hour paper. You have a 3-hour paper. In that 3 hours, 1.5 hours for case study, 90 minutes for case study. In that 90 minutes, you have to read 1200 words and write 1500 words. Almost 2800 words you're processing. Is it possible? It's possible. This is where people who qualify do well. People who actually qualify this exam do very well in ethics. Ethics and essay are two deciders. And in ethics, the biggest decider is a case study. Why? Because people with reading speed, if you're able to read faster, you're able to do the cases well. Read. Now, on average, UPSC gives you 900 words every year, on average. Can you guess how much time do you require to read 900 words? Process 900 words, read, understand 900 words? In an exam situation, it will at least take 10 minutes. You have to read, understand. Only then you'll be able to write. Listen to me. If you cannot read and understand the case, what will you write? So you have to first read, understand. So case study is not about writing, it starts with reading the cases. So first tip for you is start working on reading speed. Reading. I don't say speed reading. Read newspapers, read articles. Try to improve your reading so that you get to the habit of reading. Don't do it now. After prelims gets over, start doing that. After prelims gets over. Get into the habit of reading so that your reading speed improves, your comprehending abilities improves, comprehension improves. Because that will save time. That will save time. You should be able to read 900 words in 7 minutes. 5 minutes will be ideal. 5 to 6 minutes will be ideal. 7 minutes is okay. So that you get more time to write answers. If you spend more time on reading, where will you have time to write answers? Please remember, you are under a time constraint. You have 3 hours. And you think you'll be writing for 3 hours in the exam? No. Suppose the exam starts at 10 o'clock. You think the paper comes to the table exactly at 10? No. Question paper will take 2 minutes to come to you. And the moment the question paper comes, you will not start writing immediately. You will smell the paper. You will see the paper. Get the feel of it. Look into the questions. You will do all that. And besides, when you're writing an exam, there will be a person who comes to check your iCard. He'll make you sign the attendance. He'll take you 2 minutes. Your 10 minutes are gone like this. So you will not be writing for exactly 3 hours. You will end up writing for 2 hours 45 minutes or 2 hours 50 minutes only. And in that 2 hours 50 minutes, you cannot spend more than 7 minutes or 5 minutes reading cases because you have to write. So work on your reading speed first. I told you that's a scary truth because nobody tells you this. And the truth is here. And God forbid next year, when you take your mains, if this kind of word limit comes, you're gone. UPSC has not specified the length. They can give you any length. They can give you any length. Got it? Reading speed, work on it first. Asha, okay. Next, understand the questions I'm asking. Understand the questioning terminologies. Question. Now, evaluate merits and demerits of each option. So that means you have to talk about the merit and the demerit of the option you're developing. Options, merits and demerits. This is where your knowledge, Acha, listen to this so that you're able to apply it. When you're evaluating merits and demerits, this is where your knowledge of ethical values, human values, foundational values, public service values, your approach, virtue approach, duty approach, consequence approach, all that will be used when you're evaluating merits and demerits. Suppose if I ask you what is the merit of lying, you will give me consequential approach. By lying, I can save somebody's life. Demerit, you will quote virtue approach. Good people don't lie. That's how you evaluate. You use approaches. And I've taught you the approaches. Second question, UPSC will have, what will you do in that situation? Like for example, can I explain? Look at the question, what will you do in that situation? You remember that election commission case I told you about the blind lady? The blind lady comes and asking you, requesting you for the son's voter ID card. What will you do? You have to say yes or you have to say no. You cannot give me an answer, I'll arrange a chair for her and all that. I'm asking you, what will you do in that situation? Your father is asking you, will you get married? Your father is asking you, standing in front of your father, will you get married? You have to say yes or no. There. What will you do in that situation? There's a fire in front of you. What will you do in that situation? So, next question. Discuss the ethical issues. This is easy. Analysis and advice. Look at this, best part. Advice. You have to give advice. You're used to giving advice. Don't worry. You give advices to all your friends. Don't you? You're all love gurus. You know something. Most of you. Have you seen college kids? Nobody knows about love, but everybody has an advice on love. Advice. Do this. Do that. Bro, that's the best thing to do. Advice. Here also to give an advice. Right. All right. You know, interestingly in Chennai, I noticed something. Everybody is a bro. Everybody is a bro. Right. That leads to complications actually. Imagine everybody becomes a brother, so it leads to serious complications. Now, ethical dilemmas and resolving it. Dilemmas. I will talk about this today, resolving it. And the last one, responding. Look at this. How responding to the situation, not reacting, responding. You're there in the situation, how will you respond? So these are the questions UPSC has. That's the terminologies. Always remember, when you're answering a question, understand the question. What am I asking? What am I asking? Don't write what you feel like. You answer my question. I repeat, you answer my question. Don't write what you feel like. Okay. Now I'll give you a template case. Mug up the template. Use this everywhere. You know what a template is? Microsoft gives you templates. Resume template. Fit in the done. Replace the words, put in the details. I'll give you a template. Shortcut. And use this. And don't share it with others. Please. It's only for you guys. This weekend special. Okay. Now look at the fire station. I said this is not a case given in UPSC, but You can take a screenshot of the case. I'll read the case, I'll explain it also. You can take a screenshot of it. Don't copy the case, take a screenshot of it. Do we have any question terms like criticize, argue? No, that is in section A, not here, not here, not here. Critically analyze, examine, not here, not here. You will not have it here. So there. Not in case studies. In the other paper, theory part, you will have it. Look at the fire station. You can see it requires repairs. It requires repairs. First trick of case study is you have to imagine yourself in that situation. Imagination. That makes it very easy. Now, UPSC will not give you this kind of visuals, but I am giving you visuals so that you get used to it, thinking, imagining. Now look at this. You are the captain of one of the city's fire stations. Fire station. You are working here. It's not taking place in your home. It's happening in the city's fire station. That means you are involved there directly. So you have to imagine yourself working in a fire station. You are the captain of one of the city's fire stations. The fire station is in serious need of repairs. Look at the word, serious needs of repairs, as a critical portion of the station has become weak, causing it to become unstable. If you see the visual itself, you can make out the station is not in a good condition. It requires repairs. And the structure is in a bad state. A tropical storm has blown across the city, causing heavy damage and flooding. Do you remember Chennai floods? Do you remember Chennai floods? I'm sure you know that. So floods causing heavy damage and flooding. The area in and around the city has been declared a disaster area, and both state and central disaster officials are assessing damage for emergency relief. So the city has been declared emergency disaster area, and the officials are assessing the damage. And the officials come to your fire station also. Now begins the case. This is a background detail. And remember, you are involved, and where's the case happening? It's happening in a fire station. Tip number 1, when you're reading a case study, underline the character. I repeat, underline the character and what role. Always underline the character. If the name is given, underline the name so that you get the name correct. And underline the place where it's happening. It's in fire station. And underline the designation, captain. That's very important. You are the captain. Now comes the next. The fire chief, your boss. You are the captain, you are reporting to the chief. He is the chief of the station. He is the boss of the station. Now listen to this. The fire chief has advised central and state officials that the damage to the station was caused by the storm. That means the damage was done by the storm. I repeat, the damage was done by the storm. So that means he has not presented the right information. In your exam, don't say my boss is lying. Use the right words. Boss is lying sounds too judgmental. Just say he did not present the right information. Misrepresented the fact. The boss misrepresented it. Now comes the problem. Now imagine yourself. Imagine. You are in the fire station. You are working. Your boss calls you. Just put yourself in the situation. Your boss calls you. You enter the boss's cabin. The boss is sitting. You're standing there in the cabin. So look at what boss does. Prior to relief officials' arrivals to assess the damage at the station, the fire chief calls you. You're standing in front of him. Please remember that. You're standing in front of him. To advise you of the impending arrival and tells you to inform the relief official the damage is a result of the storm. You are standing in front of him. He tells you, I have told them that the damage to the building happened because of storm. When they ask you, you also tell the same. Now you are standing there, you have to say yes sir or no sir. What will you do? You cannot tell him that, sir, I'll come back and tell you. You are there in front of him. This is what is known as responding to the situation. Your boss is watching you. What will you do? He is there, little. Now, look at this. You're standing and you're thinking now. You're weighing the options. Although this is not stated, annual evaluations are due next month And the chief is known to use the evaluations to reward loyalty and punish those who do not follow his wishes. Due to previous illness in the family, you are very dependent on his annual evaluation to keep your salary up with inflation. Now, you are standing there and thinking what to do. You realize if I say yes, when the next evaluation comes up, my salary increase goes up. And I need the salary increase. Why? Because there's somebody in the family sick. Family, probably it may be a father, it may be a mother, somebody is sick. So you need the evaluation. And you think, if I say no, fine, I'll be honest. If I say no, I'm honest. But the point is, I will not get my evaluation. I'll not get my increment. And my family suffers. Now you are thinking, what will you do? Will you say yes to the boss? Will you say no to the boss? What are the options available to you in that above case? What options? Cynthia is thinking, Asha is thinking, what will you do? Your boss is there watching you. You have to say yes or no. You know, the problem with all of you, you're so middle path oriented that you want to have best of the both worlds. You want to say yes also, to say no also. Family also, honesty also. So what will you do here? You will say no to him. Okay, great. Cynthia is typing. Okay, I will say no. Okay. Now, this is emotional. What you are giving me is a very emotional response. Will you sacrifice your family for honesty? Please remember, ethics is very practical. Don't be idealistic here. Yes, you sacrifice your coffee. Okay, nice. What will you do here? There are three options you have. There are three options. I'll give you the options. Follow the instruction of the fire chief, your boss. He's your boss. And please remember, you're reporting to him. You're reporting to him. And everything is happening in fire station. It's not your personal, it's office. So, first option, follow the instruction of the fire chief. Your family needs are taken care of. You get your salary increment. Second option, report the actual facts. Speak the truth. Keep your honesty intact. Third one, call in sick, avoid the situation. You say yes to the boss. Boss, yes, I'll say as you say. On the day, you call in sick. That's what you did in college, right? An important presentation. Oh, sir, I have a stomach upset. I'm not coming. I have very high fever. I have had students giving me all kinds of such excuses. Sir, I'm down with dengue fever. Sir, I cannot come. What? Which is the best option? Politely explain the situation and say no, sir. Okay, Ramesh? Ramesh, is it so easy to do that with the boss? I will say no. Okay. Now, all right. Now, saying yes, there are three options here. Very difficult. Yes, Ramesh, that's the reason. You know, you're all missing one big point here. You are not weighing the options here. Honesty, family. Which side? If you are honest, you will sacrifice your family. So you don't understand. This is an ethical dilemma. Suppose if you're honest and you get no evaluation and your father's sickness increases, you need money. That's the time you curse yourself. It's the same father, same family that nursed you, that nurtured you. Honesty, family. And besides, you're not even asking this question. What is your official duty there? You are a captain. You're not Chandra Mohan. You're not Bhanu. You're a captain there. I have not given name here. I've given designation. You're a captain there. You're reporting to the chief. So, when you're doing a case, you should ask these questions to yourself. You know, all of you looking at case of decision-making question. This is not decision-making. I have given you figure. I have told you, imagine you're standing there. Okay, I'll give you a matrix here. This is what we do. Matrix. We call it decision matrix. This will be fun doing it. This will be fun. I taught you 3 ethical approaches. How many? 3. And this you can use in all the cases, blindly. And if you have time, you can draw it also, it'll get you marks. It's a very simple thing. First is duty. What is my official duty here? As a captain of the fire station, what is your official duty? Your official duty is to take orders from your boss. Don't you agree? That's your duty. It's a hierarchy, right? He's your boss. You're standing there. Official duty. Which action will lead to best consequence? Saying yes will lead to better consequence, or saying no will get better consequence? What will be the best benefit? Second question. Third, what will a good person do? Which action will damage my character? Which action will improve my character? Good person. I have taught all the 3 approaches. Use it. And there are 3 options here. Follow the instructions, report the facts, call in sick. Now let's plot it. Let's plot it. It's fun, right? Let's plot it. First one. I'll go with my boss. Yes. Shankar, that's the best idea. Working people understand this. Bosses' importance. And please remember, when you say, okay, you know something, just put yourself in the examiner's position. The moment you say honesty, examiner will have this question, why is he sacrificing honesty for his family? I mean, why are you sacrificing your family? How can you sacrifice a family for a small thing? You're not the boss there. Okay, let's plot it. What's your duty? Your duty is to follow instructions. You are reporting to him and he's plainly telling you. And he's the one who's going to do the evaluations. That's your duty. I say you're standing in front of him. Duty, you are the captain. Next, which action will lead to the best benefit? This one. If you follow instructions, the family stays safe. You protect your family. You remember I taught you one moral rule, family first. You remember the moral rules? Family first. Don't you help your family? Family, yes or no? You're all sitting at home. Look at this. Right now, your family is contributing to you. Later, you'll disown the same family? That's why I said all of you are thinking emotionally. And report facts. Let's look at the second option. The biggest disadvantage of this option is, if you go by these two, if you go by follow the instructions, the biggest disadvantage is it will damage your character. Your conscience will keep pricking you. You remember yesterday you'll have that guilt. I lied. That's the biggest punishment you'll have. So that's why if you go with the second option, you have this. Good person. You'll keep a clear conscience. If you go with the third option, you're not even doing your duty. You're not even benefiting out of it. And lastly, so now you have these two. So which is the best one? You have 2 ticks in one. Which is the best one? Okay. In your case studies, there is no right answer. There's only best option. So don't look for a right answer. And best options are options where you can explain, justify. You are justifying by using a duty approach, you're justifying by using consequential approach. I hope you got it. Justifications. You get marks for justifications. Okay, I'll teach you how to write it also. You want to learn writing? Template for writing? Simple template for writing? Okay. Now that's the structure you'll have. That's the structure you have. First one, introduction. First paragraph will be introduction. Do as I say. Don't follow internet. Don't follow all that. Do as I say. You will get your marks. And later, if you do something else, that's all. I'm not responsible for that. And always in introduction, focus on three things: actor, action, and the issue. Actor, action, and the issue. In this, the actor is the chief. The actor is the captain. And the action is fire chief's instruction. Fire chief gave an instruction that lead to the ethical issue. Had the fire chief not called you, there would have been no ethical issue. So that's why actor, action, dilemma. So introduction will be somewhat like this. Sample. Fire chief's instruction to misrepresent the facts of the case to the visiting officials led to the situation where I had to choose between being honest to my duty on one side and family interest on the other. So the dilemma here is honest to myself, honest to duty, or family interest. Simple. Honesty versus family interest. That's the dilemma. So three things. Actor, action, dilemma. If you can capture this, you get 1.5 marks. Your introduction having these three elements will get you 1.5 marks. And this way the examiner knows that you understood the case, you've read the case. Why? Because you've written the actor, action, dilemma, all the three together. He will have an idea. That's how it goes. And don't get emotional about writing case studies. Your job is to write the best option, explain, get your marks, move. You will not have time to think. On average, you will have 5 minutes to read and write a case answer. So don't be over emotional about it. Be practical about it, and you should have this template in your head fixed so that you go right automatically. The template should be here. The moment you see that, the decision matrix should be there in your head. What is my duty? What consequence? What character? Always these three things should be there in your head. But if I say no, then anytime fire station might collapse and it will send bad message to public and security. Yep, that's also there. Jyoti, that's also there. So that's where the consequence. Acha, please remember, let me teach you one big reality. There are 6 case studies in the exam. There are 6 case studies in the exam. You cannot talk about honesty in all the 6. There are some people, when they write answers, all the 6, they're integrity, integrity, integrity. And I'll start wondering, seriously, how can somebody be so honest? Are you so honest in your life that you're practicing integrity 24/7? No. Show the examiner diversity of approaches. I can be honest also. I can be consequentialist also. I can be duty oriented also. I want to see all the three. Suppose in this case you have gone with duty. In the next case, go with character. In one case, go with consequence. So examiner knows that you have understood the whole dynamics. Why am I teaching you ethics? So that you can understand character, you can understand consequence, you can understand duty. That's why there are 6 case studies. So don't overload integrity in your cases. Don't. I don't want that integrity overload. I want to see you explore, give me different dimensions. Ramesh, I hope you got the idea, bache. It's just an exam. It's not a test of your integrity, just an exam. And I want to see you practice ethics. Simple. And ethics is all the 3. Okay, next one. Paragraph 2, analysis. Keep this pattern. Paragraph 1, introduction. Paragraph 2, analysis of option 1. Analysis, evaluate. 2 merits, 1 demerit. Simple formula. 2 merits, 1 demerit. Look at this. 1 advantage. Being consequentialist, you follow the chief in the interest of the family. By following orders, you're also fulfilling official obligation. 2 advantages. 1 demerit. You end up compromising your personal integrity. Done. You are given the merit also, you are given the demerit also. Always remember to write 2 merits, 1 demerit. If you cannot find 2, write 1 merit, 1 demerit, but 1 has to be there. The trick is to finish the paper, answer all questions. Don't go overboard in one question only. Yes, Ramesh, that's why I said this will be useful for your office work also. Ramesh, we teach this to your bosses. You know that we teach this to officers. I've done this to officers. I've teach them to officers. They're trained to think like this. But most of them don't use it also. Okay. Vasant, I hope it's easy now. Case studies template. Do you find it easy now? Or it's difficult? Just a simple thing. Very simple. Paragraph. See, it's not about point paragraph. See, Lakshmi, this can be made into a paragraph. Advantages can be one paragraph. This can be one paragraph. I repeat, this can be one paragraph. Paragraph 2, not points, paragraphs. Don't go by point paragraph thing. Paragraphs are the best. That's my opinion. Rest is up to you. All right. Paragraph 3, analysis of option 2. Report actual facts. Now, in this advantage, you keep your integrity intact. You keep your honesty. You keep your conscience intact. This is what a good person will do. Why? Because the character is not damaged. Your character is intact. Good person. But the disadvantage is this. You end up sacrificing your family. If you look at the last one, is it worth it? Do you think it's worth sacrificing a family? Now suddenly equations have changed. Is it worth sacrificing a family? Vinisha? Why is it you never thought about this in the beginning? All right. Now it seems to be easy. Yes, glad you're finding it. Helen, nice. Helen, you're reached home or still in car, driving? No, okay, great. Helen, I hope you have your headphones on. Otherwise, the whole family will be listening to the cases. And they'll be wondering, what am I teaching you? Okay, let's go to the third option. Fourth paragraph, third option. Can I go to the next one? I hope you got the template right. And follow the same template. 2 advantages, 1 disadvantage. Introduction, actor, action, dilemma. Standard template. Standard. Don't be over ambitious. Explain it like this. Move to the next case. Please remember, you have 90 minutes to do 6 case studies and read 1000 words. It's a challenge. So don't be over ambitious. Have the template set. Write it. Don't waste time thinking. Don't drop marks. Okay. Next one. Third option. Call in sick and avoid the situation. There is no advantage in this option. There is no advantage in this option. Because you end up being a shirker. You end up running away from your responsibilities. So there are no advantages here. There's no advantages here. So the conclusion part, paragraph 5, conclusion. Look at this. Mention your chosen course of action. No need to repeat the advantage, disadvantage. You already given the advantage, disadvantage. No need to repeat it. Just mention what is your course of action. At the end, just write, personally, I feel this is the right course of action. Personally, I feel this is the best course of action for me. In the interest of my family, in the interest of my integrity, this is the best course of action. So mention the course of action. Simple. Sir, if I true inspection, the inspection person can promote and job me, right? Yes. Yes, Cynthia, so stick to the options provided unless they ask you, create your best option. Otherwise, create your, otherwise. Okay, let's go to the next one. Shall we do one more case? The template remains the same. Shall we do one more case? The template remains the same. Shall we do one more case? Chandramohan, you want that? Previous, okay. This one? So similar case study news media where TN police officer was trying to report a complaint against the ADGP of TN, SP of a district was trying to prevent the lady to report the complaint to the government. Yes. Bhanu, integrity is not done. We have done foundational values of empathy, compassion, we have finished. Okay, integrity is not done, Bhanu. That's what you're trying to say? Okay, let me check. If it's not done, I'll do it now. It's hardly 5 minutes. Integrity will not take too much of time. It's just 5 minutes. All right. I may have missed that. Okay, next, one more case, then we go to integrity. Now, okay. Right. Now, again, I'm advising you all, template remains the same. I repeat, template remains the same. All the cases. Your writing case study entirely depends on how well, listen, writing case study depends on how well you understand ethical principles, ethical rights, ethical principles. You remember the principles I taught you? Practicing honesty, all those principles. Ethical principles, ethical rights, right to privacy, freedom of expression. You remember the rights? It also depends on how well you control the 3 approaches. Duty approach, character approach, consequentialism. If you can understand these 5 and apply it, you will do very well in case studies. Case studies applying 5 things. Nothing else. Nothing else. Don't make it into a rocket science. It's a very simple case study. 5 elements, 5 things you have to control. Template is there. And anyway, I'll make you one more offer. Once you qualify your prelims, you'll surely see me for mains program. During mains, I have this program called 101. It's for my old students only. Students who qualify prelims come back to me again for mains. It's part of the mains test series program, where I take 3 days of ethics for all of you. Every day, 5 hours of ethics. 3 days. I prepare you for the mains completely. So it'll be refreshed again. Because I know that after today, you will not be studying ethics at all, because it's time you got into prelims. No, I'm not joking. Stop it. Why? Because prelims is important. All this will be waste if you don't qualify prelims. So from tomorrow onwards, start getting into your prelims, because you have 8 to 9 weeks left. Last 2 weeks of May, leave out for revision. Last 2 weeks of May don't count in preparation. That's for revision. You have to revise. So you have 2 weeks of March, which is left now, April 4 weeks and 2 weeks of May. Roughly you have 8 to 9 weeks left for prelims. Get real. Prelims is most important. You qualify that, only then you write your mains. So that's why we'll do this now. Okay. So I just made a small offer to you so that you keep that in mind, that our journey continues. It's over here. Okay, next one. Don't copy this. It's there in the question paper. 2013 case. Look at this. Personal integrity versus institutional interest. Which will you go? What will you go by? Okay, let's see the case. Look at this. You are involved. Don't copy this. It's easy to understand. You are heading a leading technical institute of a country. You are the head of a technical institute, director, NIT, IIT, whatever. The institute is planning to convene an interview panel shortly under your chairmanship for selection of post of professors. That means you are recruiting professors. A few days before the interview, you get a call from the personal secretary of the senior government functionary seeking your intervention in favor of selection of a close relative of the functionary for the post. So, couple of days before the interview, a bureaucrat's PS calls you and he tells you, my boss's relative is coming. You select that man. Phone call. Typical of government setup. Phone call comes, senior officer. PS calls you. He's not calling, PS calls you. Now look at the offer. The PS also informs you that he's aware of the long pending and urgent proposals of your institute for grant of funds for modernization, which are awaiting the functionary's approval. He assures you that he would grant these proposals cleared. Look at the offer. You select my person, your institution gets funds. And now, in the earlier case, you are reporting to somebody, but now you are the boss. So the head of the technical institute, you need to think about institution's growth also. Interesting dilemma? Earlier boss, it doesn't matter. But now you are the head. Your institution's growth is also important. Your integrity is also important. What will you do? You go with the boss, you go with the request. Request, it's not order. Go with the request, institution flourishes. If you don't go with the request, fine, you get a better person, better professor, but the institution's funds are still pending. That is why the dilemma, personal integrity, institutional interest. So, same pattern. What is your official duty here? There are two options here. Fulfill the request or doing your duty, merit-based decision. You take decision on the basis of merit. What is your official duty here? First one or the second one? Official duty. Second one, right. So your official duty is this. Which will lead to best consequence? Fulfill the request, consequence. But if you fulfill the request, you damage your character. By following your duty, you are building your character also. You have your answer. Always the first question you should ask is, what is my duty? What is my duty? You are the chairman of a selection committee. As a chairman of a selection committee, your duty is to take merit-based decision. As a chairman of a selection committee, you cannot run away from your duty. You have to do your duty. And your duty is this. Simple. And the same pattern, introduction, option 1, option 2, analysis. 2 merits, 1 demerit. Conclusion, job done. Same pattern. Okay. All right. Empathy, compassion. Okay, we'll talk about that part also. All right. Done. This is how you do the case studies. Okay. I want to close, but I think by mistake, I guess I left out integrity portion. One topic is left out. I'll cover that in foundational values. Integrity is left out. I'll cover that. Is that okay? Shall we do that? It'll take 10 minutes. It's not a very big topic. Shall we do that? Because I think I covered only empathy, compassion. I didn't cover integrity. I'll cover that. So let me let me change the slides. Just a doubt, it will be wrong. So would it give a wrong if it chooses other? No. It's perfectly fine. Asha, it's perfectly fine. You can go with whatever option. See, Asha, I told you, you have to justify your option. You go with any option. You have to justify it. You go with whatever is best. You justify your option. That's what the idea is. Okay. Yes, Vinisha, we can do that. I'll do that a little later. Okay. Right. All right. Let's talk about the two values I'll discuss now. One is integrity and one is tolerance. Both have been left out from the foundational values thing. I'll discuss both. Right. I don't know how I missed it. Akhilesh, sorry, I mean the other day you pointed out also, but you worded it so vaguely, so I could not understand that also. But right, anyway, integrity. When we say unity and integrity of India, what does it mean? When I say unity and integrity of India, what does it mean? Unity and integrity of India, what does it mean? You always heard that word, unity and integrity, what does it mean? Integrity of India. Have you heard the term integrity of India? Inseparable. Okay. Inseparable. Okay. Right. Togetherness. Nice. Oh, who's this? Vamsi, you're back. Nice to see you. Togetherness. Yes. It's not togetherness in there. It's about complete. In other words, are you a complete person? Complete. Whole. Are you a one complete person? When you see a pizza, it's one round hole. You pull a slice out, the integrity is violated. Have you seen a pizza? I know some of you are really hungry now. When you pull a pizza slice out, it's not complete. Whole. So when I ask you this question, are you a complete person? That means, do you practice what you preach? I'm talking about honesty. I teach ethics and I practice dishonesty outside. That means I don't have integrity. I'm sure some of you must have seen this in college and office also. Your boss talks about punctuality. He's the one who comes late every day. Where is the integrity? So the integrity means complete. Complete means like, are you practicing what you preach? Like if you look at Mahatma Gandhi, he spoke about non-violence, he practiced non-violence. He spoke about Satya, he practiced Satya. I have got it, integrity. So the word integrity is this. Latin, wholesome, wholeness, complete. Soundness, soundness again means complete. One whole. Have you seen a watermelon? Complete. And integrity as a concept is about complete person. A person who practices what he talks. Complete. Got it? Did you understand that? It means consistency in our conduct. Consistency means whatever you preach, you practice. That's what is consistency. I repeat, consistency is whatever you preach, you practice. You say, in schools, we are taught honesty is the best policy. Are you practicing it? I'm sure in schools you must have heard thought for the day. Every day there's a thought for the day. Are you practicing it? That's what consistency is all about. Got it? Consistency. And integrity has next one more meaning. Huberts is a scholar. He says, quality of acting in accordance with moral values, norms and rules. Arvind, battery bank, please. How many are there now? Okay. All right. Can I proceed to the next one? It's not a very, very big concept. Please remember this. It's a very small concept. When you Google the word integrity, what you get is philosophy of integrity. But in ethics, it's a very small concept. In ethics, it actually means consistency. Keep Gandhi as a role model. Keep the word complete person in mind. Complete person. Practicing what you preach. Complete person. Got it? All right, let's go to the next one. May I go to the next one, guys? If you're all set, may I? Okay. Now, we can leave this. I want to copy this one. Now, this is the official Government of India version. GOI doesn't mean, don't mention GOI in your exam. This is what Government of India believes. It's taken from their reports. What Government of India says is integrity is this. Consistently behaves in an open, fair and transparent manner. Look at the word, these are not my words. This is taken from Government of India documents. Now that's what consistently you are behaving in an open, fair, transparent manner. First one. Second, honors one's commitments. That means fulfilling your promises. Third, most important, works to uphold public service values. public service values. You know something, every service has its own values. For example, if you look at Delhi police, it has three big values. Seva, that is service. Shanti, that is peace. Justice, that is nyay. Three big values. If you look at Tamil Nadu police, it's truth alone triumphs. Have you seen Tamil Nadu police values? If you look at Tamil Nadu police logo, it will say truth alone triumphs. That's their service value. So you're supposed to uphold that service value. So three parts here: consistency, commitment, and upholding values. Simple. That's what is integrity. Please stick to this. Don't write about philosophy of it. That's not needed. All right. Copied. Chalo. Can I go to the next one? Jyoti. Okay. Now comes a thinker here. Kant. Kant on integrity. Immanuel Kant is the man who made very popular. Kant is the man who made integrity very popular. And he said this: having integrity is living in harmony with principles you believe in. Look at the words. Principles you believe in. In other words, harmony, complete. You practice, you talk about a principle, you practice it. Harmony. Mahatma Gandhi. If you look at Chauri Chaura, he believed in non-violence. Once Chauri Chaura violence happened, stop the movement. Harmony in principles. Integrity. Second one, it's a virtue of consistency. Consistently practicing what you preach. Consistency in practicing what you preach. And last and the most important one, even at personal cost, look at the words, even at personal cost, you should not sacrifice your principles. You should not sacrifice your beliefs. You know, practicing integrity requires some price. If you practice honesty, have you noticed something? People who practice honesty don't have too many friends. Oh, seriously? They will not. That's the cost of it. Just start being honest with your friends from tomorrow onwards. Within 2 days, you will have no friends. Within 2 days. That's the real cost. Can I proceed if you're done? Okay, one last topic. One last topic is this. How to display integrity in public? This is a question UPSC will have. Applied. They will not ask you the meaning of the word. They'll ask you how to apply it. How to be a person of integrity. Ways of displaying integrity. How to become a person of integrity. This is the important question. So how to do that? Let's take it up. As an ethical person, what would be your stance, sir, about... Okay, Vinisha has, sir, I'm a bit confused whether to go with ethical values, sacrificing it for our families. You know, Vinisha, if you're a consequentialist, you can go with sacrificing your family if you believe in consequences. If you have that character approach, make a choice. It's personal. There's nothing to be confused about. I've given you 3 choices. Consequence, when you talk about consequentialism, don't bring in any values. The best results. You remember consequentialism? It's the ends that matter, Vinisha. It's the end. Yes or no? So, if you're going by consequence, don't bring in the values. If you're bringing in the values, don't go by consequences. What you're trying to do is you're trying to mix both. You cannot have both all the time. You cannot be principled also. You cannot find consequence also. If you look at Subhash Chandra Bose, he sacrificed morals and principles for Azad Hind Fauj, shaking hands with Hitler. If you look at Bhagat Singh, for larger interest, he did something else, revolutionary terrorism. So Vinisha, I hope I sorted this out for you. Just before you said duty first, but now you don't give up. Just duty first, but now you don't give up honest at any cost. Which one will... It's up to you. Who's this? Who this? Saravana, it's up to you. Why is it you guys are so confused? You cannot have best of both worlds, boss. Ethics is not about one right path. All of you are looking for the ideal path. No, it's about, I have 3 options for you. Doing your duty. Consequences. Then comes character. Make a choice. You cannot have all the 3. Saravanan, Vinisha, you're all trying to have all the 3 in one go. Impossible. Impossible. Either you be Gandhi or either be Subhash Chandra Bose. Choice is yours. I hope you got my point. That's why don't... See, I have always been telling you, don't look for right answer. Look for best option in that situation. Best option. And sometimes the best option is consequences. Sometimes the best option is duty. That's why I told you 3 questions. Right, Saran, I hope I answered your question. This is a perennial dilemma because all of you look for that specific one. Yeah, Cynthia, the book that you received from the institute is compiled by me. You can use that. That's good enough. That will be a supplement to what I am doing. It's the same thing. So you can use that. The booklet that you got from the institute is compiled by me only. So you can use it. All right. First way to display integrity. First way. Follow this. Jyoti, please don't bring up such situations. Don't invent situations, Jyoti. My relative is doing a fraud. What should I do? Report. Don't create such situations, Jyoti. It's not that simple. Okay. Now, first way to display integrity. Be open and honest in dealing with others. Always be open. Always be honest in dealing with others. One of the biggest problems of today's public servants are they're never honest in terms of working with others. You go to any government office, they'll say, you ask him, will this work be done? Ho, yes, come tomorrow. You go tomorrow, come tomorrow. Oh, today sir is not there, come day after tomorrow. Why can't they be honest and tell you that this cannot be done? Honest. That's the most important thing. Be open, honest, dealing with others. When you deal with others, tell them. Next one. Honor commitments. When you make a commitment, when you make a promise, fulfill it. Okay. Just look at the politicians now. Tamil Nadu elections are coming. They'll make all kinds of promises. Oh, interestingly, for last 5 years, Coimbatore Bridge was not happening. Suddenly, there it's all being whitewashed and all work is happening. And I'm very, very sure even after elections, the bridge will not be opened. Oh, anyway, next one. Following rules and regulations and guided by public service values. Follow the values. And most importantly, display courage and conviction to make the right decision, even at personal cost. Even at personal cost. This is what is sacrificing family for your honesty. Personal cost. Extreme. In theory, this sounds very, very good in theory. In practice, serious challenge. Okay, can I go to the next one? May I? There's one more slide on tolerance, then we are closed. Let me explain the meaning of the word tolerance. Then we are closed. May I proceed? Okay. One foundational value, tolerance. Already explained it with, combine this with Locke's idea. Remember I spoke about Locke, John Locke, essay concerning tolerance. Let's talk about this. Tolerance is this. It's an active attitude. Active attitude. Active. That means actively practicing inclusion, accepting the diversity, prompted by recognition of universal human rights and fundamental freedoms of others, accepting others' freedom, accepting others as they are. Now, this will explain the things. Tolerance means accepting the fact that human beings are naturally diverse in their appearance. Accepting diversity in appearance. There's something, we all don't look the same. We all look the different. We all have different face, different skin colors, different hair. Accept that. Don't make fun of others' skin color. Don't make fun of others' body shapes. Have you heard the term body shaming? People shame people's bodies nowadays. And everybody's body is unique. Don't shame. So that is why it's about diversity in appearance. Accept appearance. Everybody is in a different situation. Don't make fun of that situation. Speech, everybody talks differently. Behavior, values have a right to live in peace and to be as they are. That is what is tolerance. Everybody has a right to be as they are. As they are. You have to accept them as they are. That's what is tolerance. There's no need, Cynthia, there's no need to read any such book. You can all leave that book. You can skip those books. This will be more than enough. And trust me, the more you read, you'll get more confused. Stick to this perspective. It's a very simple paper. Don't complicate it. And besides, I will be seeing you before mains. So don't worry about that. Before mains, I'll surely be seeing you. All right. Okay, guys. This is where we stop. I've done the values. I've done everything with all of you. So this is where we close today's sessions and the course. And this is not a final goodbye because I'll see you again after prelims. Once you qualify prelims, again, see you again. So it's not about saying goodbyes and all that. Relax. Don't be emotional about it. I will be seeing you after your prelims. And right now, start focusing on your prelims. Do your prelims well. And you have 8 or 9 more weeks left. Do your prelims well. Qualify. Then we meet again. In a daily closing time, goodbye time, suddenly if a message or a sir zoomed out. New login idea. Sorry? Huh? I think they have left. Okay, guys, thanks for waiting. Just we have some tech issues, that's why we got zoomed out. Anyway, thanks for being there. And okay, I was just giving you one couple of advice. The first thing is, I'll repeat again because some of you may have missed it also. See, your ethics syllabus, the course is over. This is more than enough. One, start working on your prelims first because that will be the critical part. And you have 8 to 9 weeks left. And always remember to keep last 2 weeks for revision because without revising, all the prelims is useless. So revise. Last 2 weeks, revise. And focus on your prelims. After prelims, of course, once you qualify, I'll surely see you again for the mains. That's, of course, I'm going to see you. And there's one more thing. Just to be in touch, just to keep things connected, just to keep you on the loop. I have this Instagram, I think I shared my Instagram public thing also, Ethics 101, Ethics 101. There's the Instagram handle I have. That handle is completely full of ethics. And from Monday onwards, I plan to start a column called Ethics Explainer, where every week I'll post some concept, ethics concept there, which is relevant for your exams, one. And there'll be every week, there'll be 3 posts. One will be on the ethics explainer part. One will be on Indian values, Indian ethics also. So that's my way of keeping you connected with the subject. Right. Besides, I have a blog also, kmpathy.wordpress.com. That blog will have a lot of content on ethics. It already has, and I'm going to keep refreshing that content also there. So there are a lot of ways I'll keep providing you support. So don't think that this is over. It's not over. I'll surely see you again before your mains. That's a promise. And with this, I think we can close. And thank you all for being there. And thanks for making it. It was a wonderful journey. Short, but it was fun. Thanks, Helen, for making it. Thanks, Vamsi, and thank you all. Thanks, India. Thank you all. Thanks, Chandramohan. Bye-bye. Thanks. See you. Thanks a lot. Bye. See you. Bye-bye. Bye. See you.